Welcome to Local Edition on Time Warner Cable. I'm Steve Swat with the Sacramento Report, and my guest this segment is Senate Republican leader Bob Huff. Thanks very much for being back with us.
Good to be here, Steve.
Well, traditionally, the Senate Republican leader is a chief negotiator for the Republicans in the Senate on the state budget, but this year, the Democrats negotiated with Jerry Brown and froze you out of the process, correct?
Exactly. Yeah, this is part of the aftermath of Prop 25, which gave majority vote power for the budget, and we're redefining how we do things.
There was some negotiation last year, correct?
There's negotiation with the governor. We Republicans, you may remember the GOP 5, we sort of jumped in there. The governor is trying to get some votes up to put the tax extension on the ballot, and we said, well, we'd like to see some reforms. That started a several-month debate. Didn't get anywhere, but that was the extent of the negotiations then.
An argument has been made that the Senate Republicans and the Assembly Republicans are so wedded to their no tax pledge that they are, in essence, not willing to negotiate on revenue issues, and thus you've made yourself irrelevant.
Well, it's a red herring because, frankly, the people that do take pledges, they do so because that's what resonates with their voters. Their voters want to know they're going to take a hard line on raising taxes. And so this came up on the budget, on the debate of the budget last week, where they talked about we were irrelevant because you have to have addition, not just subtraction. My argument to that would be there's different ways to come up with addition. When you grow jobs, you're creating more tax revenues through productive people employed and taking them off the government payroll. That's how we would want to add to the budget.
And so you don't believe that Republicans were being intransigent at all?
No, not at all. It's just, as in most things, there's two sides to how you solve the problem. We can't be one of the highest tax states in the nation, as we are, and yet taxes are always the solution. But that's what the Democrats tend to do. As Republicans, we're trying to get people back to work, trying to solve the underlying problem about why there are no revenues or there's less revenues than we would like in the state budget. By the way, we do have $5 billion more revenues than the previous year. We are growing the revenues, just we're spending at a faster pace.
The Treasurer, Bill Lockyer, last year, and I'm paraphrasing, thought that the budget was a sham and wasn't going to work. This year he says it's financeable. And I also want to get you to comment on quotes from Senate President Pro Tem Steinberg and also the head of the Budget Committee, Mark Lena, who said that significant, very painful cuts were made. And they were made to programs that the Democratic constituency cares about.
Right.
So what's your response to those comments?
Well, there were significant cuts made. They weren't significant in the context of the overall budget. When you have only about less than 10%, actually, I think it was like 7% of the budget is real cuts. The rest of them, you're cutting other levels of government, cutting other programs, you're bringing it in to fund the state government. Certainly not a cut to the state government as they would have you believe it is.
And of course, the budget is based on the premise that we're going to have a tax increase, temporary sales tax increase and income tax increase in the fall.
Right, 7-year, $47 billion temporary tax. And so that's the structure they built around. We Republicans have been saying, listen, if education and public safety is your highest priority, that's what you should start the budget process with, and then you live within your means. They look at it, well, we want to fund our public employee unions, so we'll go out and raise taxes to do that. And if they don't pass, we'll whack education. 99% of the cuts, trigger cuts, go to education.
Whack education and blame the Republicans.
And blame the Republicans because we're violating, we won't, we're not in there to add, we just want to subtract.
Well, I guess moving forward, we'll have to sort of watch the progress, and certainly this election in November will be very important, and it's, I guess, as of now, 50-50 whether those taxes will increase.
I think it's probably going to be less than that by the time it rolls around.
All right, Bob Huff, Senate Republican leader, thanks very much for coming by and giving us your perspective. We appreciate it. And thanks to our viewers for watching Local Edition on Time Warner Cable. Reminder, you can see this interview and others also on My Government on Demand as well as YouTube. I'm Steve Swat. Have a great day.